Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed and welcome back. We are going to create a fun little decor piece using some really simple supplies, including a frame that has been sitting in my closet for forever that I have not had anything to do with. So we are going to start off first by just getting the stuff out of the frame. We're just using the outside of it. We don't need actually the rest of it. So I am just pulling it out, getting all the pieces out of here. Now, as a heads up, I also have a giveaway going on. My giveaway is in relation to my December daily, and what I basically thought of is everything that I do in terms of a project, a craft, something creative, and today it is all about making this little home decor piece. I'm going to make something little mini using the same products that I have to put in my December daily. So this video, along with all the other videos that are in the playlist, which is up on the iCard and also at the end of the video, are eligible for you to win a pretty amazing prize, which is a Xyron prize, and I'm going to be working with some Xyron products today. And the product I'm going to be working with is the Creative Station Light, and that is the big prize. Plus there's going to be some small ones. There's some little, creative little mini thingies, stuff like that. Okay, so now we have our frame open. This is pretty much ready to go. We're just going to put this off to the side. I've taken all the pieces out of it and it is good to go. I believe this is an 8.5, this is an 8 by 10 size frame. You could go larger, you could go smaller. I wanted something big enough that it actually could be something that could rest on my mantle, or I could put it on my wall and, just something a little bit different. So that's what we're going to go with. The first step I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a whole bunch of stars because we're going to make some three-dimensional hanging stars to go on our project. So I have 2 star dies. This is a nesting star die, and I picked the 2 smallest ones from my thing. And by the way, all supplies are listed below for you guys to find out. And I have some papers from Wild Whisper, and I love this plaid. I thought it was so pretty. And then there's this antler one that goes with it that's similar colors, and then there's this one that's got this mandala thing going on in the background. The back sides are all really different too. So we have stars, we have this, and we have the snowflakes. But I'm sticking with the color scheme of these 3 that you can see right here. I'm probably going to stay mostly within the plaid because I really love that plaid color, but we'll see. I might throw a couple in that are something different just for a change of pace. First step though, I'm going to take my plaid paper and I'm just going to cut it using my scissors going straight down the center here because I need to be able to fit it in my cuddle bug, which is just off the side of me here. And I'm going to go ahead and layer these both on top of each other and move the other papers off to the side. My floor is my best friend when it comes to when I'm working. Okay, I have my 2 star dies, and it's pretty basically simple. These are wafer thin dies, and I have a cuddle bug. I use plates ABC, and I've created these just a titch too wide. I had to cut down a tiny bit more. I love that this company, Wild Whisper, is from Canada. That's where I'm from. Somebody was asking me earlier, where in Canada am I from? So I'll let you know. I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, just outside a little suburb of Edmonton, but I've also lived in Saskatchewan and I've also lived in British Columbia. My parents actually currently live in British Columbia, so I get to take my kids and we get to go up every summer for a chunk of time to go back and visit. And I think of all the places I lived in Canada, I like British Columbia. It's on the island, Vancouver Island. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll and then roll back. And we're just creating stars. Simple as that. So now I've got a bunch of stars that are in this beautiful plaid paper. And it's got this little bit of a sheen to it. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to keep on cutting a ton more stars. We're going to need a lot. So I'm going to line these back up. I'm going to put my little star. And when I do the next batch, I'm going to try to get myself more stars. I'm going to go ahead and line them up the opposite directions. That way I don't have a whole bunch of large stars and eats up a ton of paper. If I alternate them, I can get more stars out of it. So I'm just going to keep on rolling and making more stars. All right, so as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of little stars cut out. I mostly did the plaid, but I did pick up a little bit of this fun peachy color and then also some of the antler color as well. This is the Creative Station Light, and this is my big giant giveaway for for my December daily. And heads up, all the videos for my December daily are going live every Sunday. And then I have some other videos going live during the week that are me making things that I then do a little baby creative to put it inside my project. So inside here, I have my permanent adhesive, and I'm going to run all of my stars in this. And it's really simple. You take it and you turn it, and I'm turning them into stickers. It is so simple, so simple. And I'm just going to do all of them. So lo and behold, I have finally run out of, I have been having this one go for a while, my adhesive. So I'm going to take this out. It's so simple. All you have to do is it sits in here. So it sits in here like this. You pull it out. You get a new one out of the box. You unwrap it. So hard so far, right? And you take your adhesive. Make sure that the dot is facing you. The design is facing you. You slide it in just like that. And then before you want to rest it down, because you got to set it down, you want to find the end of the adhesive and just kind of pull it through. So you can see there's this little piece right here, and then plop it down. And just to kind of get it going, I just run it just for a little bit just to make sure that everything is kind of set in place. And then it's just a matter of popping in the next sets and running them through. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all of my stars into stickers by popping them into my Creative Station light. Look at that. I just made a bunch of stickers. Woohoo! Now, I do have a few extras that just in case I screw up, but this project is so simple that I don't think I'm going to need to do that. Okay. I have some black twine, and the reason, you can pick any color you want, but I'm just going to pull them off here. I think this one came from American Crafts ages ago. I don't even know, but you know, any kind of beautiful twine would work. Because of the rustic feel of the plaid and the antlers, I'm definitely keeping kind of a rustic farmhouse style vibe to this particular project. So we are going to create strands of stars, 3D stars, that hang from my frame. I can't think of words today. I do that a lot on my videos. So we are going to actually just stick these down to here, and then we're going to have these strands that are going to be hanging from here, and that's what we're going to be connecting our stars to. Pretty simple stuff. So basically we just need to be able to make strands, and I think I'm going to be able to fit 3 of them. I'm going to start with 1 and then decide, but I'm going to make my string just that much longer because then I have room to play. So I'm going to start with 1. Just move that off to the side for a second. Here's my little strand, and this could not be easier in terms of how to create these stars. I'm going to start with a small star first, and to begin with, before this gets really loud, I'm just going to peel off the front cover of this plastic. Start with this guy right here. When you're pulling them off, because it is a star, just be careful that you don't end up ripping it. And the first step is I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a crease to follow. You could have done this before you stuck it in, and I actually should have. I was just so excited to show you how the Creative Station worked. I completely forgot about that, but it still works. Basically, you're just giving yourself a center line. I'm going to go into, I'm going to give myself a little bit of room at the top. I'm going to go ahead and stick my star to the twine right smack in the middle. And then look, it's already sticking beautifully. I'm going to take the next star, and I'm going to keep all my stars with the same color theme. I'm not going to change them up. I'm going to go ahead and score this one and decide what you want to have your top point to be. I'm just going to pick this side. Any side would work, does not matter. So there we go, just like that. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to take my top of my star, top goes top to top, side to side, and stick it down. And somehow I got some extra fluff. And you can see the beginnings of our 3-dimensional star right there. I'm going to take my last star, my last piece, go ahead and crease where I'm at. So I'm just folding it in half. So you need obviously this is a nice symmetrical star, so when I fold it in half, it does make an even side. You could do this with circles, you could do this with all kinds of different shapes. I just love the idea of the stars. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this down, just like that. And now I have this little 3-dimensional star that's hanging from my, I'm going to move this down just a tiny bit. So that's the other thing, is I can still kind of move my string, but once I get this on, it's not going to budge. And I'm going to judge really fast because I'm going to want to hang this. These are going to fit inside of here, remember? So it's going to fit like this. So now I'm going to go in with, let's do a different color. and a different size. I don't want to have everything be super matchy-matchy. So I'm going to come in with my larger size. And I really wouldn't go any bigger than this size of a star because I think it would look a little funny. And I'm going to crease. And I'm just going to continue doing the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and fill up. I'm probably going to try and fit maybe 4 on here, 3 to 4. I'm not also, when I line them up on the, when I line these guys up on my frame and I do the next one next to it, I'm going to make sure that my stars are not all perfectly symmetrical. So this one I might do 4 stars, and the next one I might do 3 stars, and start with like a bigger star on top but make it down lower so it kind of fits in this section. You'll see what I mean. But for now I'm going to speed this up because it's just doing the same thing. It's folding, sticking it to there, making my 3-dimensional star. And here is my first little baby strand. Now, another thing you could possibly do with this, because it would look really, really cool, is you could take a whole bunch of these on one long strand and create some like really cool garlands that you could then hang on a mantle or do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it would be a very pretty garland, and just think of all the possibilities of colors and designs, and it's fun. Okay, so my stars need to be a little closer together. So if you see, so I'm going to shift these up just a smidge. I got a little more room to groove. Just spaced them a little too far apart. And I know you really can't see this, but it is hanging really well, and I'm debating. So for now, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna light tack this just on both sides so that I have a little bit of room and they're not wobbling all over the place. I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape on there. I may just use tape to help secure these indefinitely, but look how cool that looks so far. And that's pretty awesome, right? All right, so now I am going to continue. I'm gonna make 2 more strands. I need to double check to make sure I have enough. I think I'm gonna do just 3 strands. I think if I did 4, it's gonna get a little messy. So I've got 3 strands going through here. The next one's gonna have 3, and then we'll have 4 again. So I need to make sure I have enough. I have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, I do not have enough stars. So I'm also going to be cutting some more stars to help me make the rest of my length. All right, so I'm having a little change of pace in terms of how I'm attaching these. I've already done it for these 2, and I have to kind of amend a little bit because I already cut all my string. I'm going to wrap it, and I tried it for the first 2, and I'm going to show you real fast. I love the look of it wrapped on the front. I think it looks really kind of cool. It just adds another layer of something happening, and it's not just kind of, well, how did you do that? You know, you're kind of taking away the mystery. But I cut my string too short, and obviously I have to reattach, so I'm just taking some more twine. I'm gonna end up using that entire roll of twine. And I am tying a knot and knotting it together right at the tip. And I'm just as best as you can, or as I can, because now that you've watched this video, if you happen to recreate this, you won't be making the same silly mistake that I did. And it's the world's tiniest little knot. Basically, I'm just coming in, I'm holding the 2 strands together and then just doing an overhand knot and holding them in. And then another way to secure, to make sure that they don't fall apart and I don't have issues, is when I go ahead and glue it to my frame, I'm going to make sure the knot is within the glue. Aha, but I did it. So my knot actually hides just behind the frame. I'm just taking a little bit of some tacky glue just to make sure this stays on here, and also to fix my boo-boo because I screwed that up. I'm just using a Helmar craft glue. So I'm just putting the glue on the frame, like on the frame right around where my knot is, and that's just going to kind of help hold it. And then as I wrap my twine around, it's going in the glue, and it's just all going to be secured. Now, if I hadn't a cut, I wouldn't need to do this gluing set part. I would just wrap it and then tie a knot and have it hold. I wouldn't need to mess with doing this glue and having all this, because I would have cut a strand long enough to support all this. And then I'm just going to trim it, make sure that it's all in there. Look at the front, make sure I like the way it's lined up, and I do. Now, the other thing that I didn't mention earlier as I'm doing this particular project is when I line this up, there's definitely a tip of the star and there's a bottom of the star. And when I put the strands on my frame, I made sure that all the tips were facing upwards. At first, the middle section, I did it upside down and I was like, oh, that looks kind of weird. But maybe that's something that you want to do. So it just gives you a little bit of flexibility about how to kind of create your project. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fix and secure my last one. So I don't know if you can see all this other stuff that's down here on my desk, but the more I look at this, the more I'm liking just the simplicity and the cleanness of this. I just love how I was going to add swirls and flowers. I mean, I even got some stuff out and I was like, no, because it's just going to detract. And I know I'm resting this on here just so that it doesn't lay flat and smash them. I'm really just loving how simple this is and clean. And I was thinking it could turn into a Christmas, but no, it could just be like a farmhouse piece, or you could do whatever colors you want. I love the plaid and the rustic and the antlers. So it really can kind of go any direction you want, but I'm loving it the way it is. You're noticing, and I'm having this problem. I can't lay it flat on my table without it having some sort of problem. And this is the front of the frame, and see how they all bow and stick out? So I need to add some sort of little kind of a bumper basically. And I've had these little guys forever. I bought them to go in my cabinets in my kitchen and they're not working. I have really cheapy cabinets and they're not functioning the way I need them to be. So I'm going to make sure that these guys are not going to be seen when I put them on the back. And they are just, if I place them just right, they will be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that they're nice and clean. I have another set too. I bought a whole bunch of them just thinking, because my cabinets, every time I shut them, it's like clank, clank. And they're cheap cabinets. They came from when the house was built and we've never replaced them. And they function. They're just loud. Sounds like you're going to break it every time you close a door. So I was trying to eliminate the sound barrier by adding these things so that we wouldn't slam. It's not working. And they've just stayed on there. So I just actually went and ripped them off my cabinet doors. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue to where my little bumpers are and then attaching them to my frame. I'm going to do one here, and then also at the bottom. And it's just giving a little bit of something to kind of help elevate it off the wall when you rest it on a wall. All right, so now that I got my little feet added to the bottom here, as you can see, I want to add something to kind of hang this with. So I grabbed a thicker twine, just a little bit thicker. And if you notice, all my stars are pointed the same direction. So I've got the point facing up, which means this is the top. And I'm going to take my twine, and this is just a thicker rope actually from Canvas Core. And I'm going to tie a nice little knot right on the same section that I had my loop, just kind of adding to that piece. And I don't have a very big piece because if you make it too big, it looks kind of funny. So I'm just going to come in here and tie a nice little knot. And the knot's going to be kind of part of the feel of this whole thing. Everything up to this point has been very clean. And then I've got this little bit of just something going on. So I really want the top on the top, but I also don't want it to shift around on me. And I'm not going to leave this little tail hanging there. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to make sure that it doesn't shift. It buddies up next to the other parts of the twine that's already there. Once I know I've got that nice and secure, come in and just boop, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And again, I don't need this to be super tall. That's the beauty of the fact that there's twine there. Now, I did it on the outside. So I have my layer of twine and I did my knot up at the top, but on the outside, and I can always shift it. So the first thing I'm going to do is tie my knot. And there it is. That's my little hanging piece. Just like that. I'm going to let that dry. I did also add a tiny bit of glue to my knot just so that it wouldn't go anywhere. But just to flip it over so you guys can see, that's what it looks like. Just like that. Very cool. So I'm going to put that guy off to the side, and I have 3 giant stars I have not yet used, and I'm going to make this into my little decor piece that's going to go in my little creative piece that's going to go in my December daily. So since I have these 3 things left over, don't forget, you can definitely sign up to be on my December daily, and you can subscribe to my channel and leave a comment on this, and you have a chance to win that amazing Xyron light. And then I have some other Xyron goodies that are going to go in there as well. My videos for my December daily are going live every Sunday, so you have a chance to see that. I am just really quickly doing this. So I'm creating a star. I'm just to help remember what I created in the plaid. I have these pieces left over, which is perfect. And I'm just creating myself a three-dimensional star. And in my December daily, I have little pockets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it, and then when I pull it out and be like, oh, that's right, I made a little three-dimensional star that day, and ta-da! So it's just something fun I can kind of pop in there. And I might do something, I have this much twine left, that is it. So when I go ahead and put this into, and I have these 2 stars left, when I go ahead and put this into my December daily, I'm going to go ahead and keep all of these little pieces. I definitely have 1 three-dimensional star to place in my my pocket, and I think I'm just going to fold it and push it in, and then decorate the outside with what's left over and kind of have some fun. I had a little boo-boo with this star, but maybe I can have fun and figure out something and like put a little bow on top of that so you don't notice that that's there with my leftover twine. So it's a way to kind of use up, I don't need that tiny piece. It's a way to use up my tiny stuff. Thanks so much for stopping by and checking out my fun, rustic farmhouse star decor using scrapbook paper. And this has come from Wild Whisper. And the line is called Home for the Holidays, which I think is really fun. It says plaids and all these cool colors. And I definitely kept within one color scheme of the papers. And it's just kind of different and kind of fun. So, and super simple using up some old frames. Like I don't even know how long this frame has been sitting around, but it was never used, and now I've brought it back to life. And since it was already nice and clean, I didn't have to do anything I didn't have to paint it or do anything like that. I just kind of dusted it off and it was good to go. So thanks so much. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.